Shraddha, faith. You get faith or confidence that this way of life is really working. You see? That this way of life, because you've seen some of the results. You've seen some of the fruits. You've abhyasad enough so that you see some of the fruits of your abhyasa. You see? And you start to wake up happier. And the world looks better. And the weather improves. and you have nicer friends. Your friends seem better, you see. And people are nicer to you. And you don't have fewer money problems. And, life just gets better. And that should happen. That's totally the point. See, your spiritual life in a way can be gauged by your relative happiness. How happy are you? That's how far you are on the path, actually. How happy are you? See, that's another way of finding out where you are on the map. You are here. How happy are you? If you're totally happy, you're finished. Okay? If you're totally happy all the time, you're done. That's the goal of the spiritual life, is to be totally blissed out all the time. Okay? So then you can gauge yourself relative to that. How often am I happy? And how happy am I when I'm happy? And that's your gauge of a spiritual life, period. So you've abhyasad enough to start getting some taste of that. And start realizing, first of all, this is what happiness feels like. So first of all, you go, oh my God, this is what happiness feels like. Because you haven't been happy. See, most of us have been so unhappy throughout our whole lives that we just got inured to it. We just thought, well, this is the way it is. This is normal. It's normal to be unhappy. It's normal to have low-level unhappiness when we're not having high-level unhappiness. So we just normalized suffering. We've normalized suffering. So we don't really know much about the alternative to suffering yet, until we've abhyasad a little bit, until we've practiced. So, it's kind of interesting. You have to, first of all, just be unhappy with unhappiness. That's the first step. It's not like you're going to initially taste happiness. But in order for you to have the opportunity to taste some happiness, you have to renounce unhappiness. You have to recognize unhappiness and renounce it. Recognize it and renounce it. And most of us don't even recognize it, let alone renounce it. We don't even recognize, no, it's not so bad. No, so I have lots of channels on the TV. I have a $20,000 credit limit on my card. I have a car, I have a house, I have indoor heating, I have heating. That's not bad. See, life isn't bad. Those spiritual teachers, they're so pessimistic. They're always saying it's suffering and suffering. It's not so bad. See, that's a person who's still in the parking lot out here. That's a person who hasn't figured out that every good thing we have, we can lose overnight. Like that. Every good thing we have is fragile. Very, very fragile. You don't believe me, just wait. If you don't believe what I just said, just wait. And samsara will show you. Samsara will come along and slap you upside the head occasionally. And go, wake up. Well, you love that person? Let's take him away or her away. See? Boom. Your life partner just boom. Like that goes. You like money? Boom. We'll have a worldwide economic downturn. Yeah, you enjoy your prosperity. You take your prosperity for granted. Boom. See, just like that. You can lose it just like that. You think it's possible? You think it's possible to lose the way of life that we've enjoyed in a year or two? You see? The Germans didn't think it was possible either, in the last century. And, boom. They were taking wheelbarrows of Deutschmarks to buy a loaf of bread. You see? That could happen. That could happen to us very easily. Our children could be working in sweatshops for the Chinese, so the Chinese could buy stuff at Gap. Yeah? It's not natural that other people's kids work in sweatshops so that we can buy our stuff at Gap. It's not natural. That's not the natural order of things. It's not the inevitable natural order of things. They could change just like that. See? So, on a group level and on an individual level, you have to realize that this is samsara. Samsara is not a joke. Samsara is not theoretical and it's not a joke. Life is suffering. The Buddha said life is suffering. And he didn't mean that you're always in some kind of trauma or always some kind of disaster. When you're in a disaster, life is obviously suffering. Then you know that life is suffering. But it's between disasters that we have to get clear on the fact that life is also suffering. Because everything that we have, we can lose. Everything that we have, not only can we lose, everything that we have, we will lose. We will lose. Everything good that we have, we will lose. Either slow or sudden. Those are the two options. You can lose it slowly or you can lose it suddenly. Slowly means you just like kind of get sick of it. That's kind of what slow means. The slow dissolve of the good thing. You know, like how you have like, you know, this perfect relationship. Oh, I met Mr. Right. Finally met Mr. Right or Ms. Right. And then slow, that kind of dissolves, and then you lose it, right? And you get sick of Mr. Right. Mr. Right turns into Mr. Wrong. See? That's one way to lose things. Just get sick of them. And then, get a divorce and start the whole thing over again. Or you can lose them very, very suddenly. They can die or you can die. And that's it. Those are the only options. See? That's the only options in samsara. Okay? So you're clear on that. And then you go like, I want out of this. This is a mess. I want out of this mess. Okay? Then the path of accumulation. So then you start a path on the path of accumulation, and you abhyasa enough to start seeing the results, and then you get some what they call shraddha. You get some faith in the practice. You see, and you say, well, if a little bit of practice like I've been able to do, has paid off like this, what if I did more? You see, what if I really got serious and really kind of, what if I put as much effort into my spiritual practice as I have in my job, for example, or as I have in my family, or as I have in my degrees and my certificates and my certificate programs, you see? What if I put that much effort into my spiritual life? Then I could really taste the fruits, you see? I'm tasting a little bit now. So shraddha means you have confidence, you get some confidence. And then you get some virya. Virya means joyful effort. Okay? Then you go, I really want to work hard. Happily, you see. You start making excuses for why you can't do the samsaric things in your life and why because you have to do your spiritual things. Instead of the other way around. You see what I mean? Instead of making excuses for why you can't come to the yoga studio, or why you can't do your meditation, or why you can't keep your morality because you're too busy at your job, you say, I can't come to my job so much because I'm too busy doing my spiritual practice. See, I have to start cutting back on my samsaric activities because I'm too busy doing my spiritual activities. That's virya. And happily, you see, happily going like, excellent. How could I make more time? You see, how could I cut back on even more on these meaningless, samsaric activities that I'm doing and find more time for my spiritual life? Then you also get what they call smriti. Smriti means mindfulness. Mindfulness about what the hell you're doing in this life. The mindfulness doesn't go in and out as much. The mindfulness is more or less stable. Nowadays for most of us, it's, you may get some glimmer of what it is that you should be doing with your life when you come to a class like this and have somebody harangue you for 2 hours. You get some glimmer. And then, as soon as the break comes, it goes out of your mind. And then as soon as the guy leaves town, it completely goes out of your mind. For days on end, and then like once in a while, once a week, it's like, oh yeah. You see. You right? Smriti means you've woken up. It's like in the Matrix where Neo gets the thing, the message on the computer. Like every day the message is coming on your computer. Wake up, Neo, wake up. Every day it's like, wake up. What am I doing here? What's the important thing to do? What am I supposed to be doing with my life? Wake up. You've gotten a little bit of a regular wake up call on what it is you're supposed to be doing with your life. Smriti, you remember. You remember all day long to be kind to other people. Because that's what you're supposed to be doing with your life. You see, you remember all day long to try to understand how things exist and how they don't exist. Understanding emptiness. Because you realize that that's the important thing to do with your life.